Wayne Ogletree, KWTX. Coach, I was going to ask you if you had a song for this game, but
I don't have any country songs about Cal Berkeley.
But I was going to ask you, have y'all gone through the film of Cal? What have you seen from them?
I think this matchup is going to have a Sweet 16 atmosphere to it because they have outstanding post play. They have outstanding guards. They are a team that has upperclassmen. They just match up well with us, and I think it's going to be just a battle. Look up in that mirror. Put some clothes on that boy.
Mandy Knight, Fox 44. Lauren talked about looking forward to playing Cal. They have similar size, and I kind of reflect on that with Kalani and Lauren going up against an opponent with similar size.
Well, Kalani and Lauren were babies. Their freshman and sophomore year, they got to guard Anigwe and vice versa. So they're very familiar with Cal. Of course, you guys probably, I know that y'all know this. Rasay Caldwell committed to Baylor while she was in high school and then decommitted. And then she went to UCLA, Texas Tech, and now she's at Cal. So they are familiar with a lot of their players. And they looked at the stat sheet with us this morning in film session. And we made them look at how many offensive boards she has on the year. And it was just astronomical. 20-something, 30-something offensive rebounds. Lauren Cox has the most on our team at 62, and we think we're pretty good. The big difference, though, is there's a big drop-off from her going to the offensive boards, and the next one on their team has like 23. We have about 4 or 5 kids that are 62, 58, 40-something, 40-something. So we just brought those kinds of things to their attention. They're going to have to defend. They're going to have to keep her off the offensive boards. And then they realize that she's not the only player that can play. They have a very balanced team, and their depth is not what our depth is. They want to play about 7 players, and we understand that they've had up and down season. They lost 5 in a row, and then they've been on a winning streak here of late. We told them, you lost to Stanford. They beat Stanford, but then they lost to Stanford. I think they played them back-to-back games. So they know how good they are. And I told them this is going to be like a Sweet 16 matchup because we have that much respect and realize how good they are.
Jason North, Associated Press. Kim, and you might have kind of answered it with that answer there, but how different is this Cal team from the one you faced a couple of years ago?
Well, they're older, just like our kids are older, but you have a grad transfer in Caldwell that runs a show for them, and then you have quickness in, Thomas, the kid that's the senior, and then you have a role player there with Smith, who if you leave her alone, she's going to burn you with a perimeter shot. I think, both post players last night, those kids can bang with you. And, you bring McKenzie off the bench and the other post player that shoots the 3. I mean, they have everything. If you look at what we do, they have everything that we have, except, in my opinion, the depth.
Micah Fleet, Channel 25 Sports, bringing up that depth. Could you see you guys pushing the pace like you did in the opening minutes against ACU, try to go transition and see if they can keep up with you?
Well, we're going to do that regardless. That's just who we are. But they also do it. They're going to push the pace. They're not going to change who they are. We're not going to change who we are. They play in a good conference. Those guys see Oregon and Stanford and Oregon State. And so, they've seen teams like us. It's just going to be who makes plays, who outlasts the other one, who stays out of foul trouble. Can't let the unexpected happen. What do I mean by that? You can't allow a player that you know, you forget about, and she has an all-world game. We know what we face. Don't let somebody be an outstanding player for one game that isn't normally an outstanding player. And defense, you know, I talked to them about, look at what we average holding our opponents to, and look what they average holding their opponents to. And I think when you say things like that, they really, really understand why we just really emphasize defense. I think Cal gives up about 70-something points a game, and we give up 50-something points. And when you play the good teams that match up with you, sometimes that's the difference in the game, is who's the better defensive team.
Chad Conine, Waco Tribune Herald. Kim, the play they made at the end of the third quarter last night was a buzzer beater, but it was also a well-executed
Yes,
play.
it was, and we showed that to the kids in the film room. And I thought it was just outstanding, and we also showed them where defense plays a factor. I showed them some kids who gave up on the play for North Carolina, not to be picking on North Carolina, but you have to show, well, why did that work? And we just got through watching that.
Kim, I know you hadn't played in a couple weeks, but was it important to be able to get your starters off the floor last night and get them some rest?
It's been important all year. That's what depth does for you. The game dictates that, but if you could draw it up the way you'd like for it to, it would be get them enough minutes to get back in the flow and then get them off the floor for the next game. And we were able to do that. Yes, it was good.
David Smoke, ESPN Central Texas. Is the depth of women's basketball better? It seems like some of these second-round games are a little more competitive, or at least they appear to be. Is it better, and why, if so?
Well, I think some of the first-round games, not the one at 16 seeds, but if you look at some of the first-round games, I think some of the lower seeds are getting beat. Or when I say lower, I mean the higher seeds are getting beat by a lower seed. Why is it getting better? Maybe just kids are wanting to go places to stay close to home or help start a new tradition somewhere. Maybe a relationship with a coach. I don't really know, but it sure is good. I think it's good for women's basketball.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Kim, what do you remember about Rasay Caldwell? What does she bring to them? And what about the matchup between her and Chloe, I guess, if they're on each other?
See, he already thinks I'm going to put Chloe on her. I will tell you what I think of Rasay Caldwell. Outstanding player. You know, I don't know if you were in here when I said we got a commitment out of her after her junior summer, and then she decommitted. So if we were recruiting her, I tend to think that she, you know, we evaluate pretty good. So I think she's a kid that has traveled to numerous schools and wants to finish on a high note. And I think she's their quarterback out there on the floor. She also can shoot the perimeter shot, and she's not going to get in foul trouble. They don't have much depth. I don't see any of them getting in much foul trouble through the course of the year. So they're going to play a lot of minutes. They're used to playing a lot of minutes. She's an outstanding player.
Chad Conine, Waco Tribune Herald. Lauren, have you guys gotten to take a look at Cal yet? And they seem a lot like you guys in a lot of ways. Do you see that at all?
Yeah, we just finished the scouting report. They have posts that can bang with us inside. They got some size. They have some good guards that can shoot on the perimeter. So it's going to be tough. We're going to go over their sets in practice today and prepare as best we can.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Lauren, obviously they have Enigma inside. She had like 22 rebounds yesterday. That's always a point of emphasis anyway, but is it more the focus now, knowing that she's there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Coach said we're not going to shut her out and not let her get any rebounds, but as much as we can limit her, she always says it's just as important that she doesn't get it as like one of us gets it.
Micah Fleet, Channel 25 Sports. Nalissa, this one for you. First tournament experience, getting to play a lot of minutes, What was that like for you? How are you handling the tournament so far, and do you feel like that's going to help you going forward?
It was fun so far, being that it's my first NCAA game, and I did play that big amount of minutes. It was just a fun experience, and I just want to keep going.
Bruce Keating with Baylor Radio. Lauren, you always like a challenge. You like to, so this enigma you're going to be facing her. Are you looking at it as a personal challenge tomorrow, what you can do, or is it going to be Kalani on her?
Well, to start the game, it'll be Kalani, but we're gonna throw a bunch of different people at her because it's gonna be a team effort trying to stop her. So, I mean, like you said, I like a challenge, so it'll be fun.
Now, Alyssa, you've played a pretty big role in some of y'all's biggest games this year because if you're, the first person off the bench coming in for one of the other bigs, you've got a pretty big responsibility. Do you feel like some of the games, Arizona State maybe in particular, have gotten ready for what you might see tomorrow?
For sure, the games in the beginning have prepared me a lot for what's going to hit down the NCAA tournament. So from there, I just have to perfect the things that I did before and just make sure I use it in the tournament.
Alyssa, I'm not sure how much you pay attention to the bench when you're in, but when the starters are out, they're just going nuts over there on the sideline. How much do y'all feed off of that, if you see it? Because Dee Dee and Lauren, everybody, they're just going crazy when y'all do anything.
We feed off of it a lot, just knowing that your team supports you how they do, and just when you score, it's just a boost of momentum to see like your teammates going crazy, especially them being the starters. Just sets the tone of the games.
Lauren, Rasay Caldwell runs the point for them. Graduate transfer running the point, a lot like you guys have. Do you see some similarities there with her and Chloe? And also, what do you remember from her being at Texas Tech?
She's a shooter with some deep range. Chloe is more of a mid-range shooter. She likes to shoot the three. I think a lot of times when she drives, she's looking to kick it. And Chloe's looking to score if she can when she drives. But it'll be a good matchup.
You guys had a 12-day layoff. Did you feel like going in yesterday, you might have a little rust or try to get in the rhythm, but that didn't happen?
It was one of those things where you have to get back in game shape because you can practice all you want, but running up and down the floor is different. So it was kind of that first 5 minutes of the game, and then once that media timeout hit, you kind of caught your second wind.
Mandy Knight, Fox 44. Lauren, Coach has talked about you all looking forward, you and Kalani, to when you play a team with, maybe similar in size to you guys, so it's more of a similar matchup. Just kind of elaborate on that, how, playing a team that has a similar size matchup.
I know me and Kalani like it just because they might still throw a double team at us, but it's not going to be 3 and 4 people coming and crowding around us because they do have the size and they can bang around with us inside. And when you have smaller guard-like posts on you, they're just all up under you. You can't really move much, and they're just trying to be physical with you.
Alyssa, coming in as a freshman, what were your expectations for the NCAA tournament? What are your expectations going forward on this? What you're going to play, the nerves, the quality of competition, that kind of thing?
Expectations, I really didn't know what to expect going into the tournament. So really it's just whenever Coach calls my name, I just know I need to go out there and perform when she does call my name.
Elaborate on that a little bit. Akira said at the last game in Oklahoma City, Coach called her name, she wasn't expecting it early in the contest. So what's that like when you're sitting there? You having to pay attention to the game, but also listen for her to call, and you never know. She was shocked and she got called in that early in the game. So that happens sometimes?
That doesn't really happen with me because I know, like, whenever a post player gets tired, I know it's my turn to go in the game next. But I guess for like Akira, I don't know. She just doesn't know when her name's gonna get called. So she just always has to be ready.
Lauren, can you think of another team that you guys have played this year that had the kind of size that Cal has that might be comparable?
I think the physicality of Cal is similar to Stanford. Stanford really pushed us around, was really physical with us, wore us out. So I think they have that similarity.
Roy Ogletree, KWTX. Lauren, y'all took and hit more threes than y'all normally do. Was that sort of just the pace of the game, or is that something that y'all know y'all can do and kind of keep in your back pocket?
I think it's something we know we can do. It kind of depends on who's hitting. Juicy was hitting her shots. I think Akira, once she hit that first one, she kind of got that confidence to take a few more shots. Honesty hit one, Moon hit one. So it's something that we're capable of doing, but it's just kind of the flow of the game and who has confidence.
Y'all didn't want to leave yet, did you? Lauren, I guess it doesn't count as a block, but was that out of bounds still? Was that one of the more satisfying times that you had that kind of play?
I honestly didn't think I was going to hit it like that. If anything, I was just going to get a tip or something like that. But I think it's just, I think the sound of it is more like, it gives you more momentum than anything. Because it's just that loud bang and everybody's just like, and just gives you some excitement.
So Laura, we want to clarify. So you didn't look up there and see Cal's players sitting up there and give them a message, was that right?
Well, it actually almost hit one of them because they weren't paying attention. But I mean, they know that we're shot blockers, and I mean they are too. They have the size, so they knew that about us.